Here we go then, time to look through the French newspapers. France Villeneuve's with me here on set. Of course, the situation in Syria continuing really to dominate the newspapers.
That's right. Le Figaro is taking a look at how Islamists are taking advantage of the rebellion. Comment les islamistes profitent de la rébellion, because members of Al-Qaeda and other international Islamist groups have been showing up in the ranks of Syrian rebels across the country. And Le Figaro takes a closer look at this and says that Syria is their new stomping ground and they want to impose an Islamist state after al-Assad goes. And last week, 2 Western journalists were kidnapped by an Islamist group, and they described their kidnappers as British Muslims of perhaps Pakistani origin. They said that some of them had very strong London accents, for instance. And in the end, these journalists were freed by the Free Syrian Army. But this angle of the Islamist influence in Syria is getting a lot of attention, including in the international press, as we'll see in a little bit. Le Figaro, however, has an analysis piece about this by their special reporter in Aleppo, Adrien Jolme, and he plays this down. He says these Islamists are only a minority, and the majority of the rebels aren't extremists. They may scream Allah Akbar when they carry out attacks on the regime, but they're not unhinged extremists. They're basically conservative Sunni Muslims who are fighting against a minority, the Alawite minority that's ruling the country. But the reason why these roaming Islamists have appeared is because the rebels are isolated and they need all the help they can get.
On the diplomatic front, France has called for a meeting on Syria at the UN Security Council.
That's right. It seems increasingly unlikely that will happen, but Le Figaro points out that Syria is going to be a hot topic when France takes the presidency of the Security Council starting tomorrow and for a month. Mali is also going to be a hot topic, points out Le Figaro. The transition government there, has asked for an intervention by an African-led international force to calm the situation there. There's unrest in the north, a heavy Islamist presence there. But before troops can be sent, the 15 members of the Security Council have to get on the same page, and the discussion will start on August 8th about Mali.
French politics getting a lot of attention in the press today, particularly the leadership battle and the opposition in the UMP.
That's right. It's the battle for the top at the UMP, and the 2 main contenders are the current leader, Jean-François Copé, and the former Prime Minister, François Fillon, who reportedly broke his foot while vacationing in Italy. Le Monde takes a closer look at their strategy, their style, how they plan on being elected leader of the opposition party. Now, that election will take place in November. It looks likely to be a dirty fight. And sticking to French politics, Le Parisien takes a closer look at where French politicians are spending their vacation, whether that's well-deserved or not. And except for François Fillon, most French politicians, including pretty much all the members of the current government, have decided to stay in France. Now, such restraint, safer. Such restraint across the board is no coincidence. First of all, c'est la crise, it's the crisis, so no flashy holidays. Also, François Hollande and his ministers are eager to distance themselves and distinguish themselves from the Sarkozy years. Sarkozy was known to like to vacation on exotic yachts and exotic locations.
At least they get a holiday. According to the communist newspaper L'Humanité, they very lucky, really, aren't they?
Absolutely. L'Humanité says that the number of French people actually able to afford vacation is dropping. The normal vacation that François Hollande is saying that he wants to go on is becoming a luxury, according to L'Humanité. This summer, 1/3 of French people won't be able to afford to go on vacation, and according to L'Humanité, this is affecting French tourism.
And finally, Libération are paying tribute to Chris Marker.
That's right. He's here on the cover of Libération, well, a photo of his most famous film, La Jetée. So he died on Sunday at the age of 91. Libération pays tribute to him, calls him an adventurer, a geek, I think they mean that in a nice way, and an activist. And just to take a final look at Le Parisien today, which takes a look at swimming, because, of course, France won 3 gold medals in swimming. It looks at the secret of French swimming. Basically, why are we so good in the pool?
Why? What's the answer?
You have to read Le Parisien to find out.
She's good at teasing, isn't she? Florence Villeneuve with the French newspapers here on France 24. Thanks very much. Stay with us.